Hey guys, so it's Jordan. I'm coming back here to do another video before I have to go to work today. Like I said, I wake up in the middle of the night sometimes in cold sweats. I have really, really bad nightmares. I've had so many things happen to me that I pushed it down. Like I push it down inside, and I don't want to deal with those feelings, those hurt feelings. And then I don't want to admit that, hey, maybe I need help with some of these things. And I have got the help I needed. I've been to therapy over it, but again, not feeling sorry for myself. These things happen. I have horrible, horrible nightmares. I'm afraid to sleep. I get very little sleep sometimes because I'm afraid to go to sleep. The nightmares are so vivid, so real. It's like I'm reliving things over again. It's kind of like what the military have with the PTSDs. Is probably what it is. I mean, it doesn't affect me to the point where it does some people, but it is affecting my sleeping pattern, and I don't like that. So anyway, now that I'm already up, I'm going to do another video, and what I'd like to discuss again is all these people that try to use scientific measures, like we all know the Scientologists or whatever, try to, prove the Big Bang Theory or God's right or blah, 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 whatever, blah, blah, blah. Here's what I'm going to tell you. I would like to discuss with you a couple things that happened to me that may not, ring true for you as far as a guarantee that there's a God, because everybody's like, what if we die and we're just, ashes to ashes, dust to dust, and, a lot of people think that when you die that your world turns black and that's it, it's over, and wow, how depressing, like what, there's nothing to live for on the other side. That would be such a depressing way to live in my mind. But here's what I want to share with you. I don't know if you guys have actually watched some of these videos, like I said, my frustration there, but on one of my videos, I ask you guys, is something like a coincidence or is it fate in your life? Because some things are just so coincidental that the chances of them would be like slim to absolutely nothing. Do you know what I'm saying? They're like, no way could that be a coincidence. So here's something I'd like to share with you. God is very real. God is very prevalent in my life. And for all of you, also, another subject is, they say that animals don't have souls and that, they don't go to heaven. Well, even if they don't, let's not go around saying that, because I'm going to tell you something. We all become very attached to our pets. Who doesn't? They're family members. So that's the two stories I'm going to share with you today on how I know that, number one, that dogs go to heaven. And number two, there's God. And he's so good, so very good. Okay, so here are the stories. For all of you who know me for a long time, you know I had a little dog named Bailey. If you go on YouTube and check out, first of all, let me explain this. If you look up a video called The Sexy Dr. Pepper, okay, there's a video there from when I had my house and my daughter lived with me, and I have two dogs. The big fat one is a Rottweiler named Heidi, and the little one is a little Beagle Chihuahua mix by the name of Bailey. I had her for 7 years. She was my little service dog, and let me tell you, if you watch that video on YouTube, that dog was just, if you guys get a chance, watch it, because I swear to God, she understood everything I say. You'll see what I mean by the video, because my daughter made a bet with me that I couldn't come up with some, if any of you have been a thespian or have been an actor, there's something called ad-libbing, and that's where you just, pull something basically out of your butt and out of nowhere and just make it funny. She made a bet with me that I could not just take something and just think of it right off the top of my head and make a silly video, and that's exactly what I did. And it's called Sexy Dr. Pepper, and it has hair in the Dr. Pepper. It's just crazy. So anyway, back to the story. The little Beagle Chihuahua mix. After I lost everything and lost my kids, she's all I had. The dog was my everything, and long story short, when I would go get cans and bottles, my dog was so trained, and it was like wintertime, and what I would do is she'd be so cuddled up in the blanket at night. This is when I lived in the alleyway. And I'd wrap her up in the blanket, and she was so warm and comfy, and I'd say, okay, Bailey, Mommy's going to be right back. Sorry. Mommy's going to be right back, sweetheart. You look so comfortable. Anyway, long story short, that night when I left to go get my cans, I couldn't find her anywhere. I'd been dating a guy, if you want to call it that. He proceeds to tell me, "Hey, bitch, your dog came up to my trailer looking for you, and you weren't there, so she ran across the street looking for you, and she heard your damn dog got hit by a car." But that's not what really happened. Another homeless girl told me that she saw this guy, this thing I was dating, and saw him take my little dog and throw her in front of a car and kill her. So I'm asking you guys, like, who does that? Was he really that jealous? Was he that jealous of the attention and the love that we had for each other? See, their light's flickering again. Just reassurance for me that whether it's Bailey or God, somebody's here for me. Anyway, sorry this is so hard for me. It's what causes a lot of my nightmares. I beat myself up every day for leaving her in the covers like that. Because maybe he's right. Maybe she was scared and looking for me. I don't believe this story because she was so trained she wouldn't do that. But the point is I live with that. That the only thing that I had left, I was like so irresponsible. Well, you know what I mean? I feel so guilty about that. So anyway, moving on with this story. It's so funny too. Even through all the time that I've been homeless, guys, I've lived under bridges and bushes, whatever, crazy places like in abandoned houses, in a cotton field, alfalfa field. And people continually, look at what the conditions I've lived in, and they come to me for help. Like, I got so angry living in this shed, so angry that homeless people, I'd, lock the gate, and they'd be jumping over the wall and crap, and I got so angry, I had this long note that I wrote on there, and it was there for, 2 days, talking about, I don't have anything for you, I don't have any money, I don't have any drugs, I don't have any alcohol, and I said, and I can barely take care of myself, look where I live, in a shed, and you're coming to me for help in your life? What is that saying about you? I just went off, okay? But back to what I'm saying, I go off on my tangents. But anyway, so I was living in this alleyway behind the Jiffy Lube at 51st Avenue, McDowell, and this was 6 months after my little Bailey had died. So this girl didn't even know I had a dog. She didn't know me. Again, this was 6 months after my dog had died. Nobody had even mentioned to these girls that I had a dog. And basically what happened is 2 girls came down the alleyway one day and was like, "Jordan, we have nowhere to go, and we love you, and can you please be our street mom?" And again, being that I lost my daughter, and, these young girls coming to me for help, and I miss my daughter so much, and I can never replace my daughter, that's for sure, but of course, being the mother that I am, and that motherly instinct kicking in, and these poor little girls, there's some young kids on the street, Anyway, I wanted to take them under my wing, and I wanted to help them. So one day I was doing whatever, even when I lived in the alleyway, I'd like sweep the dirt or do whatever. It was crazy. Even the cops were like, "This girl lives so different. Hey, come check out her tent." Because I lived in a big, whatever. This is so ghetto sounding. But anyway. So one day, again, this girl didn't know that I had a dog, but one day she called me down, and I don't know if anyone's been to that neighborhood, but there's a Jiffy Lube, and behind it is a long, sneaky, it's not really an alleyway, I call it an alleyway. Basically, it's a driveway. It has no trash cans down it, but on one side is the back of people's homes, and the other side are the back of the businesses. And it winds and snakes down and goes out on the other side of the street. So, this is just crazy. I don't even know how to tell this story because it's very real. So anyway, there's an electric box down at the end of the other end. And one of the girls that asked me to be her street mom was like, "Jordan, come here. Jordan, come here." And I'm like, I was so frustrated because when I get in the middle of something and I'm doing something, I like to concentrate and I don't like to be interrupted or, to be bothered. So I go marching down to the electric box because she's calling me, and I go, "What? What do you want?" And again, and this is just real. Sorry if I offend anybody with this, but she was sitting there smoking a meth pipe, and what she was doing was she was taking pictures of her smoke. Like, she would inhale the smoke and breathe it out and take pictures of her clouds of smoke. It was at that moment she said, "Jordan, look at this. Doesn't that look like a little beagle? That's a dog. It's like a beagle face." I said, "Let me see that. Give me that right now." And sure enough, guys, it was my Bailey's face, and I'm not kidding. She didn't know I had a dog. She had no idea I had a dog. That was my little Bailey saying it was okay, and she reached the other side, and she was doing good. I did not beat myself up about it anymore. It's beautiful, huh? So, tell me that dogs don't go to heaven, people. Second story. Living in that alleyway at 51st Avenue in McDowell, I'd reached lower than low, and I ended up having one of my friends that I loved very dearly. He was a heroin addict. Ended up dying in my arms of a heroin overdose. Anyway, anybody that I might have loved, I mean, there wasn't really love. I mean, when you're on the street, honestly, you don't have friends, guys. It's a very cold world. You think it's a cold world even with the houses and cars and everything that you guys have? When you're on the street, it's just so much worse. It's magnified 100 times worse. But you still try to get some semblance of life, some sense of order, Because let me tell you what it's like when you're college educated like me and you don't fit the mold of all the other homeless people. You obviously, I'm not saying I'm better or whatever, but like a lot of them don't even have two brain cells to rub together because they've done so much to damage their life or their SMI. What I'm saying is having a conversation with some of these people is not even worth having a conversation. It's like talking to a wall. And then the quote unquote, normal people of society don't want to talk to you. So do you see what I've had to go through? So all of you who sit here and say that I talk too much, yeah, I do. It's called anxiety. It's called getting reacclimated back into society. I'm so nervous about, socializing with people that I overdo it. And I'm working on that, guys, but how dare you judge me on that? But anyway, again, another tangent I went off on. Sorry about that. I do that a lot. Here's the next story. I had a friend die in my arms of a heroin overdose. Everybody that I loved had either been trespassed, killed. Another friend of mine, bless her heart, Olivia, got shot at around 27th Avenue in Indian School because she wouldn't give up her purse in a robbery. She got shot in the head and died. So, people that I actually did love and care about. And by the way, people, if you're ever in that situation again, give up your purse, give up your wallet. It's not worth your life. Anyway, a lot of people I loved, cared about, anybody that I'd known, all the other homeless population, so to speak, had either been put in prison, died, or moved away. So I'd spent 6 months in jail over something. Long story short, everybody thought I'm so different that all the other homeless people thought I was an undercover cop. Yeah, I'm in an alleyway doing drugs for 2 years, and I'm an undercover cop. Oh, yeah, they can put fake ports in their arms and they can inject drugs in, and believe me, they'll ask questions like you and talk a lot like you do. I'm like, oh, God, here we go. I'm not an undercover cop. By the way, to this day, I'm not an undercover cop, people. And I'm not a snitch, I'm not any of that. But anyway. So I ended up going to jail for 6 months over using somebody else's name. Actually, a childhood friend of mine, I used her name because when they found out I was an undercover cop, and I kid you not, a lot of reasons why I don't tell people a lot about my life, it just doesn't sound real. It sounds like a made-up story. So what happened was everybody was gone. I was in the alleyway alone. I started feeling real depressed because even though I'd always been in the alleyway alone, the way it was is on one side I knew that the people were there. We had what I called like Romeo and Juliet. You know how they have the Montagues and the Capulets? Well, that's like what I'd like to equate my alleyway to. I was on one side and they were on the other. But I knew they were still over there. There was that thing in the back of my head, well, there's people here still with me, even though it wasn't. But you see what I'm saying? But that wasn't going on anymore. I was all alone. And I hit lower than low. I'd been slamming meth. I've been doing meth very heavy. And so what I decided to do was just stop everything. And I was like, I was scared. I didn't know what I was going to do. So, true story, one day I'd been off meth for like a day or two, was coming down, and in the alleyway that I live in, when it turns dusk or whatever, there are these yellow, they're like emergency lights that come on. So they have like this buzzing noise. It's like crazy, dude. So I'm in this alleyway alone, and I have a candle lit, and I have the Bible open, and I'm reading, and I just break down crying, and I get on my hands and knees, and it's like a drama movie. I swear this is real. I'm crying to God, and I said, God, please, everybody's gone. I'm all alone. I have nobody. Help me, help me, help me, Lord. Please send somebody right now. Help me. Sure enough, God's sense of humor. What comes up the alleyway, the driveway, but a Phoenix police SUV with their searchlight on. I kid you not. Right when I had asked God for help, that's what came up. They knew me. They were hella cool officers, honestly. And they opened the door. They opened the back door, and they said, hey, Jordan, get in. Because you know what? We're tired of seeing you live this way. We've seen what you lived through, and you know what? You're not doing it anymore. And we're not going to take no for an answer. And just to answer that is Officer Devers and Officer Woods, and they're in Phoenix, and they are wonderful people. But the reason I'm bringing this up is, believe me, I'm getting to a point here. I am. I'm getting to something. I just got to get there. So they did basically save my life. They brought me to a beautiful place called the Changing Lives Center, and this is ran by the Rescue Mission. It's for females only, and it's about a year-long program, whatever you want to call it, detox, 12-step program, whatever. And let me tell you, that was the best thing I could have ever done for myself. I ended up staying 90 days, but I had to leave, and I'm going to tell you why. While you're going through the 12 steps, they have this thing called a trauma egg, and they want you to get up in front of all these girls and talk about your traumas. And I'm not downplaying or downgrading what the other girls said, but they'd get up there and I'd listen to their trauma egg, and it would be, I was kicked off the cheerleading squad when I was a senior in high school, and I didn't get that chocolate cake at night like everybody else did. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. I think I heard one other trauma egg that was like almost equivocal to my life, but I said, oh my God. I said, I mean, even at Jimmy John's, like today, like when people ask about my life, like, and I say something like, oh, the reason I have this lesbian looking haircut is because I got shot in the head, which is true. I mean, but on another tangent to tell you guys, I mean, the 22 is a caliber that is so deadly. Now, what are the chances that this bullet, my head caught it? So I told the doctor, he goes, you must have a really hard head that you stopped this bullet. I said, you have no idea, doctor. But anyway, what ended up happening, back to the story, is I couldn't get up in front of all these girls that got kicked off the cheerleading team in high school and say that I'd been shot, stabbed, drugged, raped, molested. I mean, raped so many times, guys, that I'm numb to it. Like, that's just crazy. Like, the stories I could tell you, they're not stories. I mean, they're real. And like I said, I am revamping these videos, and I might just put a testimony or like these little things where I tell you little stories that have happened. I'm getting to the point. I'm getting to the point of this whole God thing. I really am. So I left. I went back to the street. I went, or whatever I did. And then I went to Cass and did all this other stuff. And I tried to go back to the rescue mission, and they wouldn't take me because I did leave, and I was always threatening to leave, So that's neither here nor there. But that place is what started, me thinking on my whole God mission again. And anyway, the point I was getting to is at the rescue mission, there was this beautiful lady there named Jackie. And if she ever sees my videos, Jacqueline, you really made a difference in my life. Anyway, we were sitting at the table one day at the rescue mission. We would all eat lunch and breakfast and all that together. And she proceeds to tell us how there are 12 different types of prayer. I mean, not only is there prayer, guys, but I guess there's different kinds of prayer. And so she was telling me there's this thing called a petition prayer where you petition God for something. And I said, whoa, wait a minute. God already gives us everything. Like, who are we to be selfish and petition God for things now? I just laughed at her. I'm like, that's just crazy. That's like selfish, And I just pushed it off, laughed it off. And so anyway, that happened. And then while I was living in my shed, I had some friends over and we were drinking beer and stuff. And we got to talking about God and religion. And again, don't even get me started on the beer thing, guys, because Jesus' first miracle was turning water into wine. And no, it was not fermented grape juice. It was wine. And let me tell you another thing, and you can be offended all you want. I believe he drank it. I'm going to tell you why. If you've done any research, the type of Jew that Jesus was, if he turned the water into wine and didn't drink it, he would severely offend the family. So do your history, do your research, people. But anyway, it doesn't make him a bad person. Wine is not bad. Alcohol, anything in moderation is not bad. So just drop all that. Okay, all you Christians out there? Back to my story. And again, that's my opinion. And I'm allowed to have it. So back to the story is this petition prayer. So I tried it while I was over there. And I said, okay, well, yeah, I'm large-chested. I have a hard time finding bras that fit me. And I said, okay, I petitioned God for a bra. And sure enough, the next day I got a brand new bra. I don't remember the whole story, but brand new bra with tags that fit perfectly. I'm like, oh wow, that works. And you guys, you can't start off with like big things like, oh, I want a Mercedes, or you got to start off with little things. And it works again. And I was homeless and I needed a bucket. Okay, because when we're homeless or go, we have to go in buckets and stuff like that to the bathroom. Okay, I know it's nasty, but that's what we got to do. So I remember one time petitioning him for a bucket, and then bing. There's a bucket there by the train tracks one time that was, and the chances of it being clean, like with nothing in it, no paint, no nothing, no anything, that's crazy. So anyway, moving on with the story, I'm getting to my point. So I was with some friends and we were drinking some Heinekens, I remember that, and we're just hanging out, having a good time, and I started telling him about the petition prayer. And we were all joking about it, and my one friend was like, I petitioned for this, and then my other friend Jose was like, oh, I petitioned for this. And then I said, and they go, what do you petition for? What do you petition God for, Jordan? And if you guys look right here, see this lampshade that I have there? Well, if you look here, when the lampshade's off, it looks really bad, okay? So I said, you know what, guys? I don't have any lampshades for this ugly lamp here. I'm going to petition God for a lampshade. And I kid you not, this is a true story, folks. Listen. Behind where I live are these huge trash cans that people put waste in, the yard waste and stuff, and the trash man goes down the alleyway and dumps it. First of all, it's always crowded with stuff. There's always tons of crap in the trash can. So I get home and I just happen to go by and glance down. I kid you not, guys. Glance down into the trash can, and not only is there's absolutely nothing in the trash can, but guess what, guys? 2 lampshades. Not one, but 2 lampshades. Are you kidding me? Now, if that right there, that story alone, and there was nothing else in there, just the lampshades, I started laughing. I was like, God, you are so amazing. He really is. So for all of you who are atheists out there and, want to know some scientific formula to show that God exists, and, Neptune's aligned behind Pluto and Saturn's rings. I mean, we don't need that. Did you guys just hear my story I just told you? Now, is that a coincidence? Heck no. Come on, guys. That's God. And that's real. So, it's getting windy out there. Sounds like there's going to be a storm. So anyway, that's just little things I wanted to share with you, and I don't know, hopefully, Jordan's journey can go on, and I hope that one day that you guys really watch these videos. I mean, people don't have the time to watch something from somebody who's had an epiphany or who's been inspired by God, but you have enough time to spend 3 hours playing Mortal Kombat and online. Like, what's priorities, people, priorities. And I'm not saying, oh, my videos are the best thing since sliced bread, because they aren't. They're me, and they're just, I don't know, maybe this is my way of having some therapy again, you know what I mean? Get it off my chest, get everything out in the open. It's amazing what journaling will do and stuff like that to help you through tough times. And for the rescue mission out there, I'm not mad at you guys. You couldn't take me back, and I understood why. That was my fault, but you guys are wonderful people. Thank you so much for what you gave me over there, too. It was beautiful. Sandra, my therapist, Ed, the director. You guys are just beautiful people. Sorry for driving you guys crazy like I do everybody. I tend to have that effect on people. And, I'd like to apologize to everybody out there. I mean, not apologize for being me, but apologize if I offended you in any way or drove you crazy in some way. But you know what? Do me a favor. Again, this goes back to work, but do me a favor. If I offend you, or you think I talk too much, or you think I smell, or you think, I have a hair out of place, whatever the hell it may be, come to me and tell me yourself. Don't be telling the other people, the other employees. You know how embarrassing that is to somebody? Come to me and be man or woman enough to tell me your damn self. So anyway, guys, let's see what time it is. It is now 5:17 in the morning. I think I'm going to go do some laundry. I got just the exact amount to do one, they charge $3 and you can put 3 loads in there. So anyway, I'm going to go do that. I'm supposed to be meeting a very, very dear teacher from Bourget today, meet up for lunch or something after work. And so I'm pretty excited. He's been feeling a little under the weather. I hope he's doing okay. But you know what, that right there, that's what life's about. Your family, your friends, and the times that you share with them, the memories, guys. That's what life's about. The fact that I could have a teacher or a dear old friend or somebody come and see me and they could be killed by, walking across the street and getting hit by a car. But to know that I was the last person that, had a positive experience with them. This is the point I'm trying to make, guys. It doesn't matter what kind of fun. What are you going to go up to heaven and go, oh, look at my new i7 phone. You think God cares about that, guys? Oh, but look at the shells I collected on because I'm retired. Hearses do not have a luggage rack. People, wake up. You can't take it with you. So for all of you who care about material items and all that stuff, I understand, which I'm not going to lie. Hey, look at this, guys. I got brand new Jordans yesterday from my best friend. My name is Jordan. Everyone always stole my Jordans. I cried. But it's a material thing. I would give them up in a heartbeat. You see what I'm saying? We all like to have nice things, but that is not what's going to get us into heaven. So anyway, I've made this video pretty long. I've rambled on, but hopefully someone out there is listening. And anyway, you know how it is. This is Jordan from Jordan's Journey, and I'm signing out. Make sure to press the subscribe button, yada, yada, yada. Leave your comments and questions. Peace out.